Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Simon here with another episode of the Clone Wars to bring to you. We're officially in the second half of the final season, and there's been some interesting episodes, some episodes that people have had complaints about, but I've enjoyed pretty much everything that we've gotten so far. This arc in particular with Ahsoka is, for me, quite entertaining because, again, we're getting to see more of the stuff that we always used to see in the Clone Wars, which was these little side stories involving, certain characters that took us away from the main story of, the Star Wars saga, but still kind of kept it connected, At the moment, we're learning about Ahsoka's life immediately after she leaves the Jedi Order. And, she's kind of flung into the underground life of Coruscant. She's come upon these two sisters, Trace and Rafa, and it's one of those classic situations where Trace is very open to befriending Ahsoka. Rafa is a bit more suspicious and a bit more cautious, and she's obviously got herself tied up in some things that she shouldn't, and unfortunately Trace is kind of being dragged along for the ride. In the last episode, I kind of learned just how naive Trace really was. She's really not learned much about the world beyond the underground of Coruscant. And I think it's a reflective kind of thing because it's trying to show us that for the majority of the people in the galaxy, they don't know much about the Jedi. They don't know much about what's going on the political scale. They don't know much about, the war with the Republic and the Separatists. For them, life just continues on as normal. And so, everything that happens in the main stories, they're mostly unaffected by. And we're now starting to see how a couple of those sisters who, for the most part, have been unaffected for the longest time, are now flung right into the middle of a story with a crime syndicate. They have a former Jedi with them that they still don't know that Ahsoka's a former Jedi, but I get a feeling that it's going to probably be revealed, if not this episode, then definitely in the next episode. And, they're in a bit of trouble because they've been captured by the Pyke syndicate. They dumped the spice after having a massive argument about what to do with the spice. Trace dumped the spice, thinking that would solve all their problems. Just made things worse because they had nothing to offer the Pyke Syndicate now, and they're in debt basically. I think they were like 30,000 credits worth of spice, and it could have been used for good. It could have been used for medicinal purposes, but instead now they're really kind of screwed, and that's what I mean by Trace being a little bit naive. She thinks she's this brilliant pilot. It's kind of contrary to, what we've seen so far. But this is a story of growth, and this is a story of development for Trace. She's finally, I think the purpose of this arc is to have her break free from the shackles of her sister, who in her own mind is trying to protect Trace, but doing it completely the wrong way. Because Trace hasn't had the opportunity to fully grow as a person, I don't think. And so now it's about Ahsoka showing her that there is an outside world, that you are bigger than just, living in your sister's shadow and under her protection. And, she's going to learn skills and learn how to do things, and it wouldn't have surprised me if had this been something that we could have developed further, if Trace and Ahsoka became very good friends and, they had a bit of a continuing friendship further down the line. But obviously with us only having sort of 6-7 episodes left, it's not possible to do that. So we'll be moving straight on to the Mandalorian arc after this, and it makes me wonder how this is going to tie in, because we've got the Pyke Syndicate, which is part of Crimson Dawn, which is just getting on its feet around about now, and we know that Maul faces Ahsoka in the final sort of arc. So it makes me wonder if they're going to try and incorporate some of that now, so that we can start to see some of the hints leading into that arc. Obviously, everyone wants to see Maul and Ahsoka face down, but I'm enjoying all of the stuff that's building up to it, And so I know some people have had their complaints about these arcs being slow or boring, but I mean, realistically, who cares? Who cares? It's the Clone Wars. It's back. It's exactly the same as it was before. The pacing, the tone, all seems to be very in line with what the Clone Wars has always been, you know, and we're getting a resolution to all of the stories, which is brilliant. You know, yeah, we can't have a full season. We can't have another 2 seasons, but we're getting something, and that's, in my mind, that's better than anything we would have ever dreamed of this time a few years ago, you know? So, yeah, we're going to jump in. Before we do, I want to say a big thank you to my Patreon super supporters. By the way, there is a poll up on Patreon for the next couple of days to determine which show I'll be reacting to next after Star Trek Picard, My Hero Academia, and a couple of other shows have kind of either gone on hiatus or in between seasons. So if you are a Patreon supporter, you can go to the link in the comments and in the description, vote there for one of the 12. Well, you can actually vote for as many shows as you want out of the 12 listed, and the top 2 or 3 that come out on that poll will be stuff that I pick up later on. But in the meantime, I want to say a big thank you to Frank Tremel, TheLoneDetective, Karen Abel, Rakoon Shampoo, Flawed Otaku, Ace, Nick Walters, The 7 Deadly Sins, and Damon Smallwood, as Zuko wants to make a little cameo appearance. But yeah, let's jump in and let's see what happens next.
You can't profit from other people's suffering, or at least I won't let you.
Will you listen to this? We got a regular Jedi here.
Oh, if only you knew.
Don't kid around.
A couple of years ago, there was a prison break on the surface of Coruscant, where you live. Some gangster named Zero.
I remember that, season 1.
Then came the Jedi. We watched, like so many others, as they chased Zero and his gang down the portal, leaping from speeder to speeder as they went.
Oh, shit.
Finally, some red-eyed alien protecting Zero
Cad Bane
blasted the engine of an ascending cargo transport. And on the other side of that wall was our home.
Mom and Dad saw it coming.
Oh,
they got
shit.
Ralph and I out. But they weren't so lucky.
The Jedi didn't
fuck.
catch Zero. The distraction of the ship helped him get away. Afterward, the Jedi came back and one of them came over to me. And Trace and I were left without parents, without a home. Just left there to find our way in their system.
It is kind of messed up. The Jedi are definitely...
I've spent every day since building a new life for me and Trace. And it's about us not depending on Jedi or these criminals or anyone else.
The Jedi are messed up.
We have our own rules, and we survive just fine.
Rafa.
You're not touching her.
Yeah, she's right. Take her instead.
Oh, shit.
Trace, if I die, you get the family business.
But
The family business.
The family business.
Oh, fuck, is it the torture droid? Yeah.
Hey, if you want to know the truth, pain really doesn't help me focus. Talking is always a good thing. Look, now that I think about it, I think the people on Kessel scammed us.
It's how it is.
Uh-oh.
What did you do to her? Answer me! Don't make them mad, Trace.
Yeah, Ahsoka doesn't have her lightsabers, so...
To my sister.
Oh, fuck. You're next.
Let her go!
Hey, look, I'll tell you where the spice is.
Uh-oh.
I just didn't want my friends to hear me tell you.
Oh, shit. Oh, nice. Oh, fuck. She's fighting her way out. I did not expect this.
Okay. I'm gonna get one shot at this.
Yes, there we go. Well, she's a good shot. She can't pilot, but she's a really good shot. Oh, fuck. Quickest to the draw.
Hey, let us out.
Press the button. Press the button. Yeah. Yes. Oh, fuck. Oh, there's the Wilhelm screen. Damn, that looks good. Uh-oh. She's gonna have to use the force, isn't she, to jump. She's gonna use the force, yep. Oh.
Trace, careful! You see that? We can't just leave her.
Force jump.
Wait, where'd she go? She didn't make it. That's terrible.
Ahsoka!
I'm here. How'd you do that?
I'm more athletic than I look.
That's not normal.
We don't have time to
Yeah,
discuss
don't.
this. Let's go.
They're shooting at you. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Where's the blood in the top half of the body?
All of this
Or did he just
effort to
get
kill us is
crushed?
Crazy. You'd think these Pikes have never pulled a fast one or had a fast one pulled on them.
Oh, shit. Yeah, go Ahsoka. I wonder when she gets her lightsabers. Oh, right in the balls, I think. No, chest. Oh, shit. Yeah.
Hey, come on!
When are they gonna click? You know?
I need something to eat.
Do I look like I have credits?
Well, if you didn't, I wouldn't be asking.
We're busy right now. Get out.
I need something to eat,
Come
but
on,
I'm also
let's go.
drinking.
Hey, you guys
Oh,
got
no.
any credits?
No.
kidding?
Get out of here.
Oh.
Wait,
Well.
are you looking for them?
Have you seen them?
What's it worth to you?
Your life? They've got blasters, dude. Oh, shit. Is that Bo-Katan or is that... There's our first hint at the Mandalorian arc.
The speeder! There!
They're gonna get saved by the Mandalorians, aren't they? Now they recognize Ahsoka, that's what's...
Think. I'm not sure. Let's keep track of her. She could be of use to us.
They're trying to find Maul. I'm willing to bet. I like the way they're tying the stories in.
You cost me thousands of credits.
Nope.
Ahsoka!
Ho ho ho! Yes. Holy shit, how did they not hear her? Uh-oh. Oh shit.
I knew keeping them in the open would draw you out.
Yeah, it was a trap.
Until you give me my spice.
Oh boy.
Guys, sorry. I never should have taken this job.
Yep.
We live and learn, Rafa.
Okay, so I quickly went back to the final episode of season 1, which is the prisoner escape episode with Zero, which is what I think they were referring to in this episode about their parents dying. I couldn't find anything in the episode itself that seemed to correlate to a Jedi taking control of a transport and crashing it and killing their parents, but I really like the way they tied that in. And I think it is definitely kind of, I think they were hinting to Luminara as being the Jedi who told them they had a choice to make. They said green skin with dark robes, and that's the only female Jedi that I can think that matches that description. So I do kind of like the way they've kind of worked that in and given them a reason to not like Jedi, because, you know, and it is true, Jedi have a lot of faults, and, you know, I can imagine that having these two newly orphaned kids being left on the streets to fend for themselves, you know, is something that the Jedi would, you know, in their current state, they wouldn't think about the consequences of their actions, because that's very much what the Jedi are at this point. They're quite arrogant. They're quite blinded by, you know, their own sense of, I guess, importance. You know, and they fail to see the bigger picture. You know, they're quite naive at this point in time. And so you can definitely understand from that point of view why the sisters have ill feelings towards the Jedi, because although the Jedi did what they did out of a sense of protecting people, it had bad consequences for the sisters. And because the Jedi didn't properly make up for it, you know, rather than hating the people who kidnapped Zero and caused everything, you know, the likes of Cad Bane and all those bounty hunters, unfortunately, you know, their hatred and their, you know, feelings of negativity are more towards the Jedi than anything else, because they've been left to fend for themselves, you know. So I like that kind of backstory that they've given to it. I very much enjoyed seeing the Mandalorians in this episode, and if my thinking is correct, I feel that they're there to try and track down Maul through the Pyke syndicate, because, as I say, the Pyke syndicate is part of Crimson Dawn. Maul is leading Crimson Dawn, so they may not necessarily know that Maul is in charge of Crimson Dawn, but they may have a lead. Either that the Pyke syndicate will lead them to Maul, or that, you know, they if they find the leader of the Crimson Dawn, they may find Maul. So it's going to be interesting to see where that story goes, but I can see the Mandalorians coming in, saving Ahsoka, because, you know, it benefits them, and that's how Ahsoka ends up with Bo-Katan for the final arc over on Mandalore, and it ties everything in together with Maul. You know, I like the way they've kind of worked that. It's quite interesting, you know, to see these elements of the bigger galaxy kind of combining together. You know, that doesn't involve the Republic or the Separatists. It would make for a really interesting, you know, story arc right in the middle of the war. So I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes next week. The sisters are slowly starting to come more into their own. Rafa is starting to realize that her way is not the best way, because, you know, her sister is blinded by loyalty. She will follow her no matter what. And I guess Rafa has been more invested in the family business than she is in making the right choices. And so now I think they're both starting to wake up to the larger world, you know, because they're in trouble. They ended up in this episode starting it in the prison cell, and they ended it in the prison cell. And they still haven't caught on to the fact that Ahsoka is a Jedi, although I feel like, you know, there is going to start to be some heavy suspicions fairly soon, because, you know, Ahsoka's started to do some things that a normal person probably can't do. But this is an interesting arc, and I thought it was an enjoyable episode. And again, I'm enjoying the way they're trying to tie everything together, because it shows you that it's been done with foresight, and it's not just kind of cobbled together and then they're like, oh, well, we just happen to have this, we'll move this onto this arc. So, you know, and it's always good to see the likes of the Pyke Syndicate and other things that, you know, you don't normally get a chance to see in main stories and whatnot. So yeah, I thought it was a decent episode. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you for the next one.